This story blew up online yesterday for obvious reasons. This is in The Independent. Louisiana woman forced to carry fetus missing skull to term or travel to Florida for abortion. A new Louisiana law has outlawed abortion with very few exceptions. So this is, what words can you use with this for this story? And what things can you say that wouldn't get you banned off YouTube? It's hard to talk about this story while maintaining your poise. A woman in Louisiana said that she has been told that she must carry a fetus without a skull and part of its head to term or travel out of state to receive an abortion. Nancy Davis, a mother of one, is 13 weeks pregnant. Several weeks ago, an initial ultrasound revealed to Miss Davis that the fetus would have no chance of surviving. No chance. But because Louisiana's abortion ban does not include an exception for acrania, the condition the fetus is suffering from, she cannot get a legal abortion in the state. If Miss Davis does want to get an abortion, she will have to travel out of state to Florida. But time is running out for her to make a decision because Florida has banned abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, giving Miss Davis a small window to schedule an appointment and arrange her travel should she decide to get the procedure. And we don't even know what her financial situation is. Maybe it's cost prohibitive. Louisiana is among the Republican-led states that passed extremely restrictive abortion bans to take effect in a post-Roe v. Wade landscape. The state has banned all abortions, except for cases in which the mother's life is in jeopardy, or in some cases in which the fetus is non-viable. I love that. Some cases in which the fetus is not viable. A group of plaintiffs filed a lawsuit to stop the ban from taking effect, but the Louisiana Supreme Court last Friday rejected their appeal. That has left Miss Davis with an extremely limited set of options in trying circumstances, and Miss Davis isn't the only person who has dealt with similar circumstances in recent weeks. So this reminds me of the story. Remember the 10-year-old who was raped and wanted an abortion and couldn't get it. And by the way, the right at the time questioned if that story was even true. They argued like it was fake, effectively, and then we learned they literally caught the rapist, and every aspect of that story was true. You know your position sucks when you can't even accept or digest the basic facts of the story without it immediately shattering your position. And that's what they did. They refused to accept it because they knew how terrible it made them look. So they're like, this isn't even real, bro. Turns out it was real. And now we had a story. This is something like out of a horror movie. Forced to carry a skullless fetus missing part of its head to term. Forced to do that. I don't even understand how this makes sense under their logic. Because if the fetus isn't going to make it anyway, and we know that, well then, why wouldn't you allow this issue to be dealt with up front, right now, as soon as possible? They really haven't thought through the logic of their position, and they really haven't tied up the loose ends. When you talk to certain people on the right, you get things all over the place, right? Some people say there should be no exception for rape or incest. Look, some of the hardcore pro-life people probably think even if the life of the mother is in danger, pro-life people, even if the mother might die, well, you can't play favorites and pick one over the other because then you're signing up for murder. So you just got to kind of let nature take its course, and whatever happens, happens. If the mom dies, right? And this is where we're at. And it all stems from a mistaken notion, a silly notion, that basically the second you're done having sex, there's a third person in the room. It's an active war on nuance. They just pretend like a gamete or a zygote is equal to your neighbor Bob. It's crazy. And by the way, this sort of extremism has consequences. This sort of extremism is one of the main reasons why Democrats went from being down 6 to 8 points in the midterm polls to now they're tying or even slightly leading. It's within the margin of error, but they're still in some polls slightly ahead. This is why. Because Americans don't agree with this. Go ahead, poll this specific case. See what happens. What's it going to be? 98% on one side of it? And it's the logical consequence of these primitive, retrograde, backwards ass laws. This is where we are. So anyway, for the love of God, change the laws. Let her get the abortion. And by the way, we're going to get a lot more horror stories like this moving forward. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.